G'day, this is Charlie, and I'm coming to you today from my locals community with your daily dose of business inspiration. Come across and join me at askcharlieleetham.locals.com. You can join the community for free. You can become a supporter for $2 US per month and get access to interact with the content, start your own conversations, get access to supporter only content. And of course, that support also helps me to keep creating content like this, like my podcasts and like my tutorials. Let's get on with today's daily dose of business inspiration. It's topic 139, ethical leadership, values-based decision making. Yeah, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Let's talk about what it is and why it's so important, why ethical leadership is so important. Now, I'm going to point you to a few of the podcasts that I've done recently. Tom Dennis, Stephen Morris, and Richard Clark. There's a few more as well. You can go and have a look at Kevin Palmieri's. I've done a couple with Kevin actually, and he talks a lot about entrepreneurship and information like that. And even Callum Armstrong's podcasts touch on it as well. But those first three are the ones that are great if you're looking for leadership information. Let's talk about what ethical leadership is and why it's so important. They're based on the principles of integrity, fairness, and accountability. It's about guiding, and the term that I see used is influencing others. I don't think it's about influencing others. I think it's about guiding them, and I think it's about displaying enough self leadership, enough ethical self leadership that they will want to follow you, that they will want to emulate that example. So, yes, I guess you're influencing them. I just don't like using that term because it sounds a little bit like manipulation, and you're not manipulating them. What you're doing is you're allowing them to make a decision and to emulate behavior that you're already emulating. What it does, though, is it establishes trust and respect within the organization at pretty much every level. If you, as a leader, are demonstrating good, ethical, values-based leadership, as long as they're good ethics and good values, then it's going to flow through your organization for a few reasons. One is you as a leader are going to be looking for people that emulate that kind of behavior and hold those same sorts of core values. They're the sorts of people that you're going to want to bring into your business. The other part of it is that you will start attracting those types of people to your business. I'm a big believer of the law of attraction. It could be called any number of things, but I am a big believer in the law of attraction. You attract what you put out. If you're putting out ethical leadership and values-based leadership, then you're going to get people who will resonate with that and want to come into your business and be part of the business and be part of that success team. Once you've got that in your head about how you want to do it, sorry, I get to a point, it's like there's so much information that it all wants to come out. I've got to slow down, otherwise it's just going to be a mountain, an avalanche of information. You then need to work out what your core values are and align them with both your personal and your organizational principles. Now, I've spoken previously about, when you've got to make a decision about whether you want to take on a piece of business, does this actually hold your own integrity? Does it hold up to your own integral values? Does it hold up to your own core guiding principles? Sometimes your organizational principles are going to be a little different, maybe a lot different to your own personal values. And that's where you really need to start getting that balance in place. And maybe the decision you need to make is maybe this isn't the business that you want to be running. If it's really so unaligned with your own personal core sets of values, maybe it's not the business you want to be running. And that's maybe a good decision point for you to be making. And then when you start making decisions, come back to those values. You will notice on my website, I've got a set of values displayed. They are my values. They started out as my own values, but whenever I bring in a team member, a contractor, or even an employee, I don't often have employees. I normally use subcontractors. They're the values that I ask them to uphold, and if I can't get that from them, if I find that there's some disconnect there, maybe we part ways. Maybe we just decide that it's not the best relationship to be having. And what I can then do is, because I've got my values set out, when I go to make a decision, I say, does this meet these values? Am I going to be putting any of these values at risk, or do I have to compromise these values to make this decision for my business? And if the answer is yes, I need to think long and hard about it. Is it because my values are wrong, or is it because the business is wrong for my business? Just some thoughts. And then by doing that, you can start to have that roll out across your entire organization. If someone comes to you, if one of your subcontractors does something, or one of your employees does something, and it's against the principles of the company or against the values that you've set for your company or yourself, you can have a conversation. Okay, so what were you thinking? What was the thought pattern there? Why did that decision get made? What You might be surprised what you learn by asking those questions, by the way. Maybe you haven't been as clear on what your values are or what those values actually mean. Maybe you haven't given some clear examples on how they could address those, uphold those values when they're doing their own tasks within your business. Maybe they don't understand them, and maybe they don't care. Whatever it is, the answer will be insightful. So there you go. There's some thoughts on ethical leadership and values-based decision making. It's important not to make a decision just on a business principle or just for business reasons. Yes, you have to be unemotional. Yes, you have to be objective when you're making those decisions. But you also need to come back, and here's how I handle it. I come back and I say, if I make this decision, can I look at myself in the mirror tomorrow and say, you're a good person, Charlie? Because if I can't, why am I making that decision? If it's going to be a problem for me tomorrow, why am I making that decision today? What do you guys think? Have you found that you've had to compromise on values that you thought you had to be able to run your business? If you have, is it because the values just weren't aligned with doing business? They weren't the right types of values? Or is it because the business wasn't the right type of business for what you wanted to achieve? I would love to understand some of some of the things that happen and some of the decisions that get made and why they get made, and what you are finding as business owners yourself. Or if you are people who work within a business, what do you find when you work for a business that says it has these sorts of values and they make decisions that don't seem to uphold those values? What do you think? Let me know. Come across to Locals. AskCharlieLeetham.locals.com. Join the conversation there. Start your own conversations. And please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. Please leave reviews. It does help the content go further on the networks, and maybe share this video with someone who you think will benefit from it today. I will see you all tomorrow.